Hey everybody, Parks Owsley here with Score.gg, joined by Sneaky, the bot laner for Cloud9. Congratulations on your win, staying in second place, looking very good. The early game was a little bit shaky. It looked like they were kind of getting some advantage there, but they had kind of a weird comp. What was kind of the game plan going into that? Were you guys just kind of happy sitting around waiting to scale for the team fights late?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely knew that they were stronger early. I mean, they had Elise, and then Tompkins Callista should have pressure for a bit, and then LeBlanc stronger than Ori. So all the bot side, even Jay's top lane, like they should have pressure in all the lanes. So the game should be pretty hard, but wasn't too bad from our perspective. They weren't really snowballing on us, and we kept getting dragons. There was no super early Ocean. I mean, the first dragon was Infernal, which feels pretty good, but not as good as Ocean.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it went pretty well from our perspective early game. I mean, there was some mistakes we had, but it wasn't the worst it could have gone.
How did you actually manage to get enough pressure to take, I think, the first 4 or 5 Drakes?
I think it was because their jungler was showing topside, and usually nowadays, it's like if the jungler ever shows top, the dragons are just worth stacking waves for, especially Ocean, but other ones are really good too. So pretty much whenever the jungler is on the other side of the map, it's like, okay, like let's go for it. And we had bot push. I think mid was fine, and then Blabber was already on it. So it's just pretty much an objective that most teams will go for at 5 minutes when it spawns, just because it's so strong and is really impactful for every lane.
Do you feel like that is a plus job from Riot, kind of giving that more priority, so there are more things to kind of fight over and take? If jungler, all right, you made a mistake. Or is it kind of maybe they should have gone more in the middle of where it is now and where it was?
I like how it is currently. I mean, I'll obviously deal with any version of it because, in the past they gave gold, just global gold, and a bunch of XP. So back then it was just as valuable because it's like, why wouldn't you want free global gold to everyone on cooldown? And now it's just like, okay, you get some different kind of stats every time. And Ocean is just like, you pick up 20 potions, pretty much. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool system, and like from scrims alone, there's been so many fights over the first dragon. It's like been a struggle for every team to figure out when you can actually take it and when the enemy team knows that you're gonna go for it, and it just becomes a 4v4, 5v5 at like 5 minutes, and those are always really fun to play with.
There was
snowbally.
Oh, sorry. There was a quote, I think last summer, Hooney said something like, you should never die for a dragon unless maybe it's Infernal and then like one death is okay. But that was obviously with, kind of the pre-buff from this offseason. And I mean, you're mentioning all the 4v4s and scrims. Is it now like worth it to just go and die for dragons?
I mean, obviously it's not worth getting 4-man killed and you get dragon, because then the snowball is going to go the other way. But if you lose one, it's fine. I mean, you kind of just want to get it and get out if they're coming, because the dragon does a lot of damage early. But usually the team will do it when they know they can secure it, or if they know they're way stronger. So either way, it should just be secured for them. And if they're doing it and it's not secured or they can't finish it, then yeah, everyone's going to die. It's not going to be good.
Well, it's fun to kind of, get to see a little more priority there, a little more action early on. Before we kind of move on from game stuff, do you have any comment about the Tristana wraparound play where you guys were kind of trying to dive and then they turned it back around on you with the TP?
Wait, which one? Was that my second death?
I think so, yeah. You were like corralling them around and they're like, wait.
I don't think there was a TP, but...
Oh, maybe there wasn't.
Yeah, it was when we were chasing after Baron, right? Yeah. I forgot Elise was coming up because she died so early and it took forever to get the Baron. And then we chased them forever, and then, yeah, Elise was there and flashed at me. Because, we could have won that 3v3 or 4v4, but no, I got chain CC'd. I'm lucky.
It made for a super entertaining play because everyone in the crowd was like, Sneaky's gonna get him, Sneaky's gonna get him. And then they were just like, no, you're dead. So thank you for that. It was kind of fun. Actually, speaking of, I feel like the games recently, last week especially, we've just had kind of more like ridiculous Fiesta games. Maybe a little bit less of the NA RAM and a little bit more of just fighting, maybe more LPL style. Which is, kind of good. Maybe it means we're maturing a little. But they're also kind of crazy and we haven't quite figured it out. Do you have any thoughts on, maybe with scrim knowledge or something, like what is going on with the league and why all of a sudden are we fighting so much?
I think it's definitely just stylistic differences if you compare us to like LPL, because there's been times when I watch LPL and they just go balls deep on every play, and it's just like, okay, like I don't know if that was worth it. Like everyone's dying for it too. Like no one's just going super deep into plays and getting out alive. It's like everyone's gonna get killed. So that's really fun to watch for sure, but it's hard to describe why they would be happening. We already talked about it. Like the biggest reason why would be Dragon, because it's like, yeah, that thing is really important. You need to go for it. But I guess there's bounties too. If you're really thinking about bounties, it can be super impactful for the way you play fights. It's like, okay, this LeBlanc is really killable and she has an 1,000 gold bounty. Like it's probably worth diving in and killing her, even if you trade 2 for 1, because she has way more gold on her, and we can get that. So like, I don't know how many people actually think like that, because sometimes it's hard to notice the bounties are really high and like notice that they're in a killable spot and stuff, but that could be a contributing factor as well. People just getting used to the bounty system.
Interesting. All right. Well, cool. Thanks for the the little insight there. Any kind of thoughts on regional strength? Is the LPL kind of over-investing on crazy fights? Is LCK too slow? Is Europe actually worse than NA now? I talked to Rupert about it a little bit, but any thoughts?
I think it's really hard to compare each region's strengths. I know I don't know about every week anymore, but sometimes like an article that comes out, it's like world power rankings for League of Legends. I'm like, huh? How are you making these? And by the way,
yeah.
Griffin #1, #2 Fun plus Phoenix. Like, okay, like,
cool.
Yeah, it's super hard to actually put each region up against each other, because if you did that at all during last year and you get to Worlds, like you would have been so off and you just look so dumb, because you can't actually compare them at all. It's like, it's fun content, but I think for sure it's too impossible. I guess the only thing you could say would be Korea could be too slow, because just purely based on last year at Worlds, like they were actually too slow, but it's hard to say if that carries over into every season, because they could have recognized that was actually a problem for themselves. But yeah, LPL's fast, Korea usually slow, NA in between, sometimes pretty slow. EU, I don't know. I don't know how to describe them. They usually have a lot of action too, I think.
Yeah. It seems like every region really is kind of a fiesta right now, which is fun. And it's spring, so we get to kind of experiment and mess around, and, come summer, we'll clean up. So I want to talk a little about you and Zeyzal in the bot lane. You got to work with him last summer, so you've been together for a while now. What do you feel like he is kind of developing? Since summer play and then Worlds, obviously great experience for a rookie, and then now kind of coming in to start kind of his first spring split with you. How's that going?
Like just him or our synergy together?
Kind of both. Just how have you two grown together?
Yeah, we've grown a lot. We've been through a lot, I guess, so far. It's not that long, but yeah, we just have to try to figure out the way we want to play in a lot of situations, because there's some specific champions that will always have different ways to play. Like you could say like Zyra. Like Zyra usually wants to go off like the Zaya, and it's really hard to figure out exactly how to play it, but we just work together really well, trying to make each other play as best we can and figure out things. And yeah, Zeyzal by himself is really good. He's, sort of shot caller, like not a full like high style shot call, but usually talks about what we're trying to do a lot of the times. And everyone pitches in, but he's like the leading voice when we're playing in game for sure. And when Dennis plays too, he's really talkative as well. So it's gone pretty well so far, I think.
Yeah, well, it definitely has. You're sitting in second, so that's pretty good. I talked to him last week, and he said he was like an organizer of information. It's like he has like an Excel spreadsheet. He's like tabbing out. He's like, all right, so this is... well, it's good. It's good to see him grow with you guys. How about you, though? Because you've been a veteran. Obviously, you've been here a really long time, one of the kind of longest-standing players in the league. You've seen a few different supports, a bunch of different roster swaps over the ages, sticking with Cloud9, obviously. What can you kind of work on now? Because, I imagine you have like your habits that are built in, they're going to be there. You can't break, a couple bad habits you have. You've got your good habits, and you kind of have a style. So what can you do with your play to kind of continue evolving and growing and getting better?
There's always a lot of stuff to do week by week. One of them is just figuring out the matchups, because there's a lot of stuff that changes every week. With patches included, but regardless of patches, matchups will change depending on like just people playing it better, or the supports not liking stuff, or me not liking stuff that I'm playing. Sometimes things just go from feeling really good, just like, okay, like I can't really play this anymore. Like I don't like this pick. I'm figuring out the best build paths and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff week to week that I have to figure out. And also, I guess just within myself, there's just a lot of question marks that I try to figure out, because the biggest one that's kind of persisted through every year is just figuring out when exactly I should be like moving or pushing at all points in the game. Honestly, it's like early game in lane. It's like, do I go hit the turret, or do I run up and pressure, or do I sack a little bit of the wave? Do I sack the whole wave? That kind of stuff. And especially in the mid game, because you need to figure out when you need to move to prevent them from like taking your vision control, and you can just fight them when they come in. So yeah, there's always lots of stuff for me. Like I'm never just sitting back like, yeah, I know about everything in this game. I played this game a couple years now.
Super comfy. Could do it in my sleep. Well, cool. Glad to hear you're kind of still making some incremental changes and adaptations. All right, so last thing before we go. Score.gg, I don't know if you've seen it, we're doing a segment with kind of players from different regions and doing like a penpal thing. So we did one with Doublelift and Uzi, and they were kind of asking each other questions and, lifestyle stuff, game stuff, like a little banter here and there. So if you were to have like a penpal, or like someone you just were like, oh, I met this guy at Worlds or whatever, like we hung out once, we got K-Barbecue. Like who would a player be that you'd like to just be like, oh yeah, we write letters to each other, and then like what would you ask them? AD carry or anyone?
Let me think. It's a pretty funny idea, I guess. I don't know if I would ever do that, but for the memes, I guess.
For the memes.
Yeah. Go with Jackie Love or Viper from Griffin.
Not the Viper currently playing on stage.
I could see him in real life. He's pretty close.
He's a nice guy. So what would you ask either of them?
I don't know. What would you ask?
What would I ask? Yeah. I have so many questions. Like, how do I stop inting in my games? I'm in like gold elo. Like, do you have any advice? I don't know. Maybe food is a good one. Like, if you were to hang out with him, like, what activities would you try and do?
All right, how about what's your trick to playing so many random champs bot lane?
Viper?
Yep.
Yeah.
We were scrimming them at Worlds because they weren't at Worlds, and he was playing like, what did he play? He played Brand AD carry, and then he played Kindred AD carry, and they were just winning every game. And I'm like, not sure if those are looking very strong. And he played like Teemo in the split of summer last year. Just so much random stuff.
I think you played Darius this year.
Yep, Darius. Darius is good in the Yasuo though.
Yeah, that's fair. But still, but would you be able to just pull out Darius? Because we've had Yasuo AD carries here.
I actually played. I played a lot of champions that just exist in League.
You've been here a while.
Yeah, so Cassio, I used to play her season 1. She was my go-to Smurf champion. It was the one I felt I could best perform on. So I haven't really played her much since then, but like when she became meta in bot lane, I was able to pick her up really easy. She's not that hard, but yeah. I don't know. I just was really comfortable with her. So that one. And Darius too. I've played some Darius. He's pretty fun. I like his big axe.
You like his big axe. Any other questions for these guys? It's fine if
I'll
not.
just wait for the response. So
All right. Well, wait. We'll have to ask Viper. How is he so good at all these? Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Anything you want to say to your fans before we go?
Thanks for watching.
Awesome. Thank you. Catch you next time.